Bike ride to the crib, using no hands, oh shit, it feel like I'm floating. But I'm falling with both eyes closed when I let the world spin. Testing the water, she got my nerves tense. Back when I ain't even have a purpose, I was so eager to learn some things. Anxiety bring out the worst in me. Society paint me as enemy. My niggas making it by that remedy. I'm more occasional, don't do it regularly. Backs under my eyes, weighing down heavily. Mama been worried, the devil allegedly deep in the plan. Subconsciously wanted it since I was 10. I thought I was sharp on my scroll and my pen think it did. So mama found shit of them legs. She told me that's not who I am. But nowadays I put on for the fam, see it when I can. I'm surrounded by my feelings, I'm stuck on a Ferris wheel. I bet I perish with 140 acres. She want the horse and the carriage, a porcelain portion of garbage. I talk to the mirror, I know that life's not the fairest. I lost my can, I can't pay off the bills with the blessing. I'm sure I relate to the Reddit page. It's feeling like money is everything. Money is everything. It's everything I need. Till I lay my eyes on you.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
You know, when you get the you're not sure what's going on. Anyways, today is Monday, April the 4th, or the Monday after WrestleMania, depending on how you take a look at it, of 2022. It is the 94th day of the year, and only 271 days left to go. Anyways, I hope everything is good and grand inside of your neck of the woods, because that's always important. So how are you? How was your overnight? Did you do anything fantastic over the weekend? Did you do anything where you were bragging or enjoying yourself? If so, I would love to hear all about it. Anyway, so here you go. We are broadcasting live from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and we're coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place that we do things at. Radio Big. Yes, of course, hanging out with our friends at RadioBig.fm, doing the things that we get to do over there as well. So thank you for letting us to hang and bang all the way over there. So let's start it off because it is the lovely Monday that we get to come in and talk. I mean, it's crazy when you start thinking about it. Only 271 days left. 94th day of the year. Where has the time gone so quickly? I mean, if you take a look, we're already, we're heading towards that path. We're getting closer and closer towards the downward spiral. Anyway, so let's start talking right away of what was trending over the weekend, because that's always important. Saturday was National Peanut Butter and Jelly Day, which I'm not even sure why anybody would want to celebrate that, but that's what was going on Saturday. Final Four was a hashtag that was hitting the sequences yesterday as Kansas, Villanova, Duke, and UNC, and Coach K were trending Saturday as fans watched the Final Four games. Also, hashtag WrestleMania was trending over the weekend as Stone Cold Steve Austin had his first appearance in 19 years. Cody Rhodes returned, and YouTuber Logan Paul made his debut. Sunday was National Find a Rainbow Day. I guess it was it was bad enough weather that you could probably do that if you were so inclined on trying to figure out on how to get to a rainbow. Or just buy a pack of Skittles, one or the other.
Duh.
So what else was actually going around? Let's see. Hashtag things you can't say anymore was trending on Sunday. Tweets included anything about Jada, Wanna Corona. I went to Blockbuster for a movie today. Anything if you're a comedian, apparently, and Washington Redskins. Let's see. Estella Harris landed in Twitter's top 10s as a trend on Sunday after the news of her passing broke. We'll talk a little bit more about that here coming up quickly in regards of what is going on. So as we are hanging this lovely morning, we can talk about everything that was going on inside of the world. Do we want to talk about the Grammys? Did anybody get slapped in the Grammys? Maybe that's something to talk about right away. But we'll talk about some of those things. We'll talk about not the slapping part, but we'll talk about the Grammy stuff. We'll talk about what's going on inside of the news. We might even make it easier and do some other things inside of there to really confuse some people. So if you are new to the show, let me kind of give you the layout of the land, because this might simplify some things for you and me, just in case. We talk about the news and we talk about safety, and then we talk about safety in the news, which that really confuses some. But we talk about safety in the news and then what is going on inside of there. And then I come back and we talk about some of the jargon, nonsense and stuff like that I want to talk about. So that always makes it a little bit interesting. And then if you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process. It's something called callinradio.com. All you have to do is type into your lovely, lovely little web browser, callinradio.com. That will pump you through the system. We'll get you all the way through there. You can do a text message. You can do a text message, a video call, or a video message, a video audio call. They get all mixed up in my head, but you can interact with the show relatively easy if you're so inclined to do so. So if you want to do this, sit back for a moment, relax. We'll bring some people in that will give us all the main news stories on what's going on. Take a listen.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Michael Kastner. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says a Russian invasion of his country amounts to genocide, and his foreign minister, Dmytro Kuleba, agrees.
Without an exaggeration, by what we've seen in Bucha and vicinity, we can conclude that Russia is worse than ISIS in the scale and the ruthlessness of the crimes committed.
Addressing a purported massacre in the town of Bucha, he called it the most outrageous atrocity of the 21st century. Russia's invasion of Ukraine is now in its 40th day. Russia is threatening to pull the plug on working with NASA and the European Space Agency because of the sanctions against Moscow. More from Trey Thomas.
Over the weekend, the head of the Russian Space Agency accused the U.S. and its allies of trying to bring the country to its knees and added the attempt will fail. He slammed the sanctions on Twitter, saying normal relations between partners of the International Space Station are only possible when sanctions are lifted. It's unclear how this will impact the two Russian cosmonauts now aboard the ISS.
President Biden is demanding action after a mass shooting in California this weekend. Mark Mayfield reports.
He wants Congress to pass background checks along with banning ghost guns and assault weapons. The governor also tweeted gun violence can't become the new normal. 6 people were killed and 12 others injured early yesterday morning when a suspect opened fire on a crowd in Sacramento and then ran off. The mayor describes it as an unacceptable tragedy.
The first black woman picked for the Supreme Court will be one step closer to the bench after today. The Senate Judiciary Committee is voting on Ketanji Brown Jackson's nomination. Out of 11 Republicans, at least 2 say they'll vote against her, and 1 plans to support the judge. Wall Street futures are mixed after the S&P 500 rang up its 3rd straight week of gains. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
More sarcasm with an Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Chris Jones. Ukraine has accused Russia of killing innocent civilians in the town of Bucha. Russia has denied the allegations and says they are a provocation designed to disrupt peace talks. The EU is now mulling the next steps in its response to the ongoing Russian attacks in Ukraine, and the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the crowd at the Grammy Awards, where he implored the world to continue to help fight off the Russian invasion.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Hundreds of people are hoping to get home today from spring break. Trey Thomas with more.
Several airlines canceled more than 3,500 flights over the weekend, mainly due to bad weather in Florida.
$200 love voucher is not going to cut it, especially when I have to pay $500 a night for a room.
Andrea Williams is just one of many travelers facing headaches. Southwest said it was also dealing with a technology issue, but is back on track. That's not the case for JetBlue and Spirit Airlines. Both are still canceling or delaying flights. I'm Trey Thomas.
A former IRS agent is offering some tips for businesses to avoid an audit on their taxes. Scott Pringle reports.
Carlotta Thompson thinks the most common thing that triggers an audit for small businesses is the income not matching up with what the IRS has on file.
The IRS knows so much more about your income than what you know, and I always tell people, make sure you report all of your income.
Thompson also says the IRS will compare returns of a business with other similar businesses.
They go into a certain industry and they'll look at certain things. For instance, we were doing restaurant audits. So if your credit card processor said you received $500,000 in credit cards, the IRS would have expected a certain percentage above that in other transactions of cash and check. So the IRS would pull you for an audit.
It's important to have the right business code on filing forms.
So many accountants that just put 9s on that or 0s. That code has to be correct or it can spur an audit.
Another common thing the former IRS agent says that raises a red flag is businesses classified as S corporations not paying officers compensation.
Gas prices are down a bit as the work week gets underway. AAA shows the national average for regular is $4.18 a gallon. It's even down a bit in the highest in the nation, California, where drivers are paying $5.85 a gallon. Missouri is where you'll find the lowest prices at $3.73. Michael Kastner, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Hey, are you tired of hanging around and talking about safety in a boring kind of format? Well, I got something for you. If you haven't hung out with us yet at safetyfm.com, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Yeah, if you come out to Safety FM, you can come hang out with all kinds of safety professionals. Some are safety professionals, some are just people that are talking about safety. But we want to do it in a format that makes it fun and entertaining. If you're kind of trying to figure out what the FM portion is, well, we're a radio station and also a podcast network. You can come out, hang out, and listen to my show, The Jay Allen Show. You can listen to Todd Conklin with the pre-accident investigation, Blaine J. Hoffman with the Safety Pro, the Hop Nerd, Sam Goodman, just to name a few on what can be found on the station. Different things for different people, trying to bring safety in an entertaining form. SafetyFM.com. Go to the website, download the app, and carry it with you all day long. SafetyFM.com. We'll be waiting for you. Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and we're not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
We are live outside the home of Joe and Rosie Goddard, where a pretty big tickle fight broke out just minutes ago. Sources say their father instigated the laughter. Let's go inside for a comment. Apparently, they have no comment. Dads, let this be a reminder that it only takes a moment to make a moment. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
You are listening to something magical. You're listening to the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, magical is a potential thing that you could say that you're taking a listen to, but I don't know. I don't know for sure. That is for sure. Anyway, so let's continue talking about some of the things that are going on inside of this lovely world of ours. By the way, just in case if you're not aware of this, but I guess I should probably make the reference. You know, you can take a listen to us anywhere that you want, pretty much within some level of reason. But right now, over the weekend, RadioBig.fm has now become available on TuneIn Radio. You know, if you're not familiar with the app, you should probably be. It is TuneIn Radio is one of the most popular radio apps in the world. And I'm not just saying, radio apps, that are popular. I'm saying it's one of the most popular ones because you can pull from so many different radio stations. So now you can actually take a listen to RadioBig.fm directly there. TuneInRadio.com. It's available already on your phones. So just for reference purposes right there. Anyway, so let's get into it. Let's talk about what is going on here on this lovely world as we are talking. Taking it from the very top, Russian forces appear to have begun to retreat from areas surrounding Kyiv, leaving many wondering what Russia's objectives are. As those who leave the city's Western media is going in and making shocking discoveries like mass grave containing 150 bodies in the town of Bucha, and some estimated to put a body count closer to 280, depending on who you ask. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky called these developments genocide. Appearing on CBS yesterday morning, he said that we are the citizens of Ukraine, and we have more than 100 nationalities. This is about the destruction and the exterminating of all of these nationalities that are there. So it is some things that are going on. It's always kind of a rough. No, seriously. When you start thinking about this, it's like, how do you even verbalize some of the things that are going on inside of your country when it's being under attack? I mean, just something to think about. I don't even know how the guy's able to do everything that he's been doing over the last, almost, we're getting, close to 2 months now. In that particular regards. Anyways, a German man is under investigation after allegedly getting more than 90 COVID shots over the course of several months. The scheme to stack up legitimate vaccination cards, which he could then sell to people who chose not to get vaccinating to the Flotvox of card requirement rules. AP reports that while the man hasn't been arrested, he is being investigated for various crimes. So let's talk about this. And I mean, let's talk about it, because here's the gig. You are aware that COVID vaccine card was required by some for you to have and do all the fun things that you needed to do. But also, as you are taking a look and taking a listen in all this, the card, it wasn't the most difficult card to come about, and it wasn't the most difficult card to, well, if we're going to really say it, to duplicate. So we had somebody here who went out and got 90 vaccines. So are we talking about that he did it for the 2 vaccines and not the booster? Because we're talking essentially he had 45 cards to sell. And I mean, it's probably not the right thing. You know that. I know that. But it's a lot of stuff to think about in regard to what he was doing. So I don't know. It's going to definitely raise some questions there.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
At least 6 are dead and others are dozens of others injured after a shooting in early Sunday morning in Sacramento, California. Officials of the Sacramento B, a weapon was B. Others of the Sacramento B, like BEE. A weapon was recovered at the scene, but remains on the hunt for the suspects. Bystanders report that the shots rang out after some violent scuffles in the Pac City streets as bars closed down for the night. So we should probably call it for what it was. It was actually the overnight. That's what it sounds like to me in regards to what was going on. What else do we have here? Veterans advocacy group Ruts Across America has proposed the world's tallest flagpole be built as part of the Memorial of Maine to remember all the American veterans in one place. The names of 24 million soldiers, not just casualties of war, would be inscribed across 55 walls surrounding the pole, which would be built on top of the hill and reach 1,776 feet above sea level. The project organizers note that the site is below common flight paths of planes entering and leaving the country for trips across the Atlantic, making it a very visible, high-profile memorial site for those entering and leaving our country. So some things to talk about for sure. I mean, it'll be interesting to see if it gets approved, because I'm always intrigued on how some things can get approved and some things can't get approved, and all of the stuff that kind of goes into the mingle of the dingle of all that stuff. Anyways, major airlines blame bad weather for southwestern United States for more than 3,000 flight cancellations over the weekend. Southwest also blamed technology snafu, while Alaska Airlines is battling its pilot union, and many of whom are on strike amid the contract negotiations. So some stuff to think about as we are talking about this 22 minutes past the top of the hour. I don't know. It seems like some interesting times as we are talking. With this being said, well, I think that we need to do some other things. Let's bring in some Johnny.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Monday, April 4th, 2022. Equity markets started the quarter on a shaky footing, with the S&P 500 hovering near break-even Friday. The move was driven by weaker than expected labor data, amplified by the ever-rising threat of inflation. Job creation topped 400,000 for March, while wages rose at the fastest year-over-year pace since the first month of the pandemic. The data points to both tightening labor conditions and accelerating inflation. This will be a quiet week for the market, with little on either the economic or earnings calendar. The biggest news of the week, other than geopolitical, will be the FOMC minutes on Wednesday. The minutes will most likely reveal a more hawkish than previously expected FOMC, and the stakes in regards to interest rate hikes. The FOMC is expected to raise rates by 50 basis points at the next 2 meetings. That could extend to 3 meetings if there's no real deceleration in consumer-level price increases. You can get the inside track in your inbox at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Yeah, you know, when you hot fire the buttons, it does that weird thing where it sounds like it just interrupted me, because it did. That's exactly what happened. I hot fired it. Yep, that's what happens here. Am I supposed to talk about that? I probably should not talk about that. You know, those are those things that you're supposed to keep top secret. You're not supposed to ever talk about if there's a mistake. Anyways, that's how that goes. Anyways, 24 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I still are hanging and banging on this lovely Monday. So should we start talking about some of these things that are going on? Let's do that real quick. New York City Amazon workers vote to unionize. Employees of the New York Amazon warehouse are choosing to unionize as the landmark vote, making the first U.S. Amazon workers that have opted to join a union. The Amazon labor union was organized at large by the Chris Smalls, who had worked and had messages from founder Jeff Bezos.
We want to thank Jeff Bezos for going to space, because when he was up there, we were signing people up. We was out there getting straight. He was buying in.
Friday's yes vote of Staten Island, a JFK 8 warehouse has already seen a big win for the organized labor. Amazon is the U.S. second largest private employer, and the company has aggressively fought for unionization efforts. So what do you think here? How much do you think that this is going to change some things? Because that's going to be something else to talk about. Because now you're going to see a world of difference when it comes to certain things. People are going to be like, what? Now we're union, now we're not union. And it'll be interesting to see what the trends start to occur across this lovely country of ours when it comes to Amazon. Think about it. Think about how things will change, because you know how it goes. Where one goes, we all go. Oh, hold on. I don't think I'm supposed to say that as we are talking. Anyways, 25 minutes past the top of the hour. Let's continue taking some deeper dives in some other things that are going on inside of the world here. Let's talk about this. Russia is facing allegations of committing war crimes in the UK. NBC Molly Hunter is in Kyiv in western Ukraine with the latest.
We are seeing images of people shot in the head with their hands tied behind their backs. Now, Human Rights Watch has been very strong on this over the weekend. They say these crimes need to be investigated as war crimes.
Government officials and journalists on the ground have reported seeing hundreds of dead civilians in and around the capital city and towns where Russian forces have pulled back from, which I did reference a little bit earlier. Anyways, to continue talking, LDS Church announcement is 17 new temples at the General Conference ends. Take a listen to this. Salt Lake City, Utah, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints plans to open 17 new temples, including its first ever temples in Kansas and the Republic of Congo. President Russell M. Nelson closed the 192nd annual General Conference yesterday afternoon with traditional announcements of sites and new temples that will be opening around the world.
Wellington, New Zealand, Brazzaville, Republic of Congo, Barcelona, Spain, Birmingham, United Kingdom.
So Peru was also getting a new temple. Mexico and Brazil each will be getting two, and then 8 new temples will be built across the U.S., which cities include Cleveland, Tampa, and Austin, Texas, elected the first time. Yesterday's announcements brings the number of temples built under construction by the church with more than 280. President Nelson also announced several new sites for temples in the U.S.
Tampa, Florida, Knoxville, Tennessee, Cleveland, Ohio, Wichita, Kansas, Austin, Texas.
So there you go, some temples for, I guess, for you to go to enjoy if you're so inclined to do so. Or if you ever tend to do any kind of, research where you want to go temple hopping, you're more than welcome on doing that at the same time as well.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
It's not about entertainment. Sometimes it's just about conversation. Anyways, let's talk about this. Trump says U.S. is on the brink of economic nightmare. At a Michigan rally, former President Trump is calling out the current state of the U.S. economy.
Real wages are falling, and we are teetering on the edge of an economic nightmare known as stagflation.
Okay, at a rally in Michigan Saturday, Trump went on to say that Biden's administration proposed budgets that will turbocharge a simultaneous recession and inflation, and it's the imperative to vote the Democratic Party out by a landslide in the upcoming elections. Trump's Michigan rally comes 3 weeks ahead of the state Republican nomination convention. Political experts say the upcoming convention would be the litmus test of Trump's influence within the Republican Party. So let's see. It'll be interesting to see what happens here over the next few weeks of what is going on inside of that particular world. I mean, you already know this. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one as we continue to move forward inside of there. Anyways, it is close enough to do that thing that we do. It is 29 minutes past the top of the hour. And I think it is time to go ahead and bring in our main story. So let's go ahead and do that right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, you know how it goes. You know how we do things. You know why it is that we do the things that we do. You know, it's funny sometimes because we sit back for a moment and we have some discussions and we have some conversations on things here where people go, well, that didn't make sense. And then I'll get text messages or messaging later and go, oh, okay, well, now I get it. When you first started, I wasn't sure where you were going. And that happens because sometimes I don't even know where I'm going when it comes into some of these conversations, if we're keeping it real. And then just to clear something up, because somebody had reached out to me on Friday, and just to make sure that you understand, I was not here on Friday. You will never catch me, or let me rephrase that, you will normally not catch me behind the mic on a 1st of April. And you might sit there for a moment and go, what is there something there? Yes, April Fool's Day, a lot of people get very confused on the things that are going on. So you will not see me normally behind a microphone on April Fool's Days. Plus, I have something else going on that day normally. So that's why I don't discuss. That's why I'm not here. That's what happens. So it's not like I'm bailing, and it's not like I started to live my dream of being off every Friday and having 10 weeks off a year. That's not the case. But that's what happens. So I don't normally or not normally here on April Fools, but that's not the important portion. So let me not go into that tangent. Let me talk about what we were discussing this morning. If you saw the titling, what made your program so complex? Now, listen, I get it. There is so many different aspects on what comes about when we start talking about this, because you could be thinking about so many different aspects of a program. You could be thinking about so many different aspects of, well, this is what's going on inside of my workplace, or you could even be thinking about this program that I'm talking about right here that you and I are doing. So let's think about this real quick. Our programs that we do day in and day out sometimes become extremely difficult inside of a work organization. And you go, well, the reason they become difficult is because of X. And that's the X that I want to talk about. Not your particular X, but that's the thing that I want to discuss. A lot of times we sit back and go, we have problems within our organization of X, Y, or Z because of a person, because of a thing, because of something that was there previously. Or maybe the reason why we have so many complexities with current programs is because we treat them as part of a program. Now, we can turn around and talk about this in several different ways, and I feel that it's from time to time we have done this here. But when you take a look at safety inside of your organization, is it something that is deemed a program? Or is it something that is considered part of your culture? Or is it something that is considered as a value added? Is it something that's considered as a proposition? Because think about it, and let's keep it as real today as possible, because that's what we do. But as you are aware, and I am aware, most people don't put a lot of focus on the safety aspects of an organization until something catastrophic occurs. And of course, you know, it varies significantly on the approach. The approach can be so different from organization to organization. Like, I will tell you, over the weekend, I was watching some videos of a guy that he turned his safety program inside of his organization to a name, blame, and shame program. And they decided to make a podcast, we'll call it a video cast, that also went into the external portions of the world where people could see these major screw ups inside of their organization, which I was just like, from a standpoint of name, blame, and shame, is that really the aspect of doing that? Probably not the best aspect. Now, I will tell you, We can sit back here and I can talk poorly and badly about people that do the name, blame, and shame game. And the interesting part about that, as I do mention that, I was terrible about that in the past. Seriously, I'm not going to lie here. Because I used to do something with vehicles and we used to name, blame, and shame. And that became one of the complexities inside of our program. And yes, I did deem it as a program because it wasn't a proposition to me at the time. And it definitely wasn't a value. It was a program. It was, this is how you have to have the mindset. It was a terrible aspect on how I was doing it at the time before my eyes were open for better things. But here's the thing. As you sit there today, how would you actually get this to be part of the culture of your organization? How would you get this to be part of something that is so different inside of your org that you would have never deemed it in that particular fashion starting off? Because I think that's where some of our difficulties come about. If we don't make safety a priority or a value or something that is important to the organization, that will not change. Now, listen, I have sat here plenty of times and we have had the discussion of saying how safety needs to be a value within inside of your org. But what happens most of the times is language has to change for it to become important. Because if I go into your organization today and I tell you, okay, safety is now a value, you're going to look at me and go, well, for the longest time it was a program, so I don't understand how it's a value. And I have made that error before in front of other people. I have made that error before where I have jumped in front of other people and said that, and we were not equally yoked. Meaning that we were speaking two different languages and I was pissed off at the time that they didn't get it. So that's what we have to sit back and think about for a moment. How do we get to the portion where we have these conversations where they make sense? You're not going to get from A to Z without going with the letters in between. It's just really the way that it goes. And it's all about timing. Listen. You know, and I know that we repeat the same things a lot of times for what we do for work. And really what it boils down to is making it sound like something new when you repeat it. Because listen, I can sit here and go, okay, let's have another conversation about safety today because it's so fantastic and it's so wonderful. And nobody's going to care. But it's all about how you present it to people. Because new to you, new to me, old to you, new to me, and vice versa. To get from one point to another, it's one step at a time. It's one step at a time, and sometimes that process is not the quickest process. It's not the quickest thing that occurs, but how are you going to do it where you make it entertaining for other people? How are you going to do it where people are going to care and want to move forward? That's what we need to think about today. And listen, I'm not off my rocker today. I'm going to tell you, you can get this to move forward if you take a look at some of the complexities that are there and how you know that you need to deem to move it. Anyways, it is 38 minutes past the top of the hour. We're going to come right back after this.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. Look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Hamilton the Pug, Instagram star, and shelter pet. Amazing adoption stories start in shelters. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a pet near you. Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You taught her what to do when the smoke alarm goes off.
You do so much to keep your child safe, but are you using the right car seat for your child? Car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. For information on the right seat for your child, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
So you see, son, good manners are important. Should I go through it again?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open. Don't speak with your mouth full. Keep your elbows off the table. Share your things, play nice, and generally treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
I'm a retired school psychologist, and helping people was my thing. After my stroke, when Meals on Wheels started, I was on the other end of the stick, so to speak. My name is Julius Gaines, creative writer, poet, photographer.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Pretend, no. I just wanna come clear, wanna see you again. I wanna see you again. I wanna see you again. Yeah. Young nigga used to think this was everything I need, right? Not so fond of change, I'm too caught up in my way of thinking. I get by on me, no, I don't need nobody, yes. I was so naive, somehow I'm still all in on me, yeah. Way too many times I let the ball drop, now I'm Steph Curry with the wrist flick, so they cold shoulders never defrost. No deal, but I pre-floss.
Okay, there you go. That's See You Again by Tilton Park. This song's readily available on Spotify and iTunes. Thank you for Tilton Park for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. So as you are taking a listen and we are hanging, it is currently 44 minutes past the top of the hour.
Feel like it's
Oh, thank you to Tilden Park for that one. That is for sure. Take a listen to that if you get the opportunity to do so. Anyways, it's that time of the show where I get to tell you the most important thing that I will ever get to tell you. That is no joke. And let me tell you about my friends at the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Whether you have struggled with suicide yourself or you have lost a loved one, know that you're not alone. Hear about personal experiences from people in your local community whose lives have been impacted by suicide and depression. To find out more information, all you have to do is call 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255, or text the word TALK to 741-741, or you can go to their website at afsp.org. That is afsp.org. Listen, we can't do what we do without you. The most important part of this life, and that's you. No, seriously. We all have our own role to do, and believe me, nobody can fill what you are doing. That is no doubt about it whatsoever. Anyways, let's continue talking about some things that are going on inside of this world, because it's always important to do so. So if we're taking it from the top, vaulting development with the new gas prices have been going up lately. It may come to no surprise, but a new report has found that despite the higher initial prices of gas, electric vehicles are cheaper to own over the long run. Yes. The report from the Vancouver Simon Fraser University calculated the total ownership cost of several electric and gas vehicles over 8 years. Yes, 8 years driving 20,000 kilometers a year. It found that going electric could save could save drivers a total of more than $19,000, and that was with gas costs of 2021. When you factor in the recent pump prices savings of $24,000, based on my team's driving habits, I think that would that would be the muffers alone. Don't worry. I'm sure that the government will come up with an EV fuel tax on that at some point. And I can understand that there is an encouraging to us to go green. I just hate the idea of everyone having the same colored car. So just think about that. But here's the thing. I mean, if we're being honest here, yes, I have driven electric vehicles several times over, and hybrid vehicles or range extender vehicles, just depending on what you're thinking in that particular regards. But I still think that we have a lot of issues with infrastructure in regards of doing that. So let's take the Tesla off of this for a moment. If you drive anything normally outside of a Tesla, they do have some advanced or rapid charging aspects, but nothing as quick as the Tesla ones. I'll tell you, the first electric car that I had, it would take about 8 hours to charge for 40 miles. Yes, 40 miles. It took 8 hours. Well, I don't know of a lot of people that are going to sit around for 8 hours for a car to charge. Just something to think about. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things. So as you are aware, we did discuss that last week was April Fool's Day, but apparently it was an April Fool's joke. Last week, as we discussed, Dyson, the company famous for vacuum cleaners and hair dryers, unveiled its new noise-canceling Bluetooth headphones that come with a unique feature, an air purifier named the Dyson Zone. The headphones supposedly purify airflow and noise in mouth. Yes. So there you go. They come equipped with an electrostatic carbon filter to remove 99% of particles, according to the company. And despite the face mask style visor, which flips down and detaches to avoid getting in the way of conversations, Dyson says that it's not designed with COVID-19 in mind, but it's aimed for living in cities looking for a way to reduce the effect of air pollution. The Dyson will go on sale in the fall, and the starting price to look like Bane from Batman will only cost you $550. But I'm wearing the headphones. I want to avoid conversation, so there you go. There's also said that it'll be handy for road trips if you're with your burrito-eating brother, so there you go. And then a great idea, too bad that looks like a 1970 football players when they used to wear those weird helmets back in the day.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so take a listen to this. New York's mask mandate for children between ages 2 and 4 remains. Scott Pringle has more information.
is planning on removing the mask mandate starting today for children in pre-K and in daycare settings, but decided to keep the requirement due to a slight uptick in coronavirus cases. A Staten Island judge struck down the mask mandate on Friday, but the city appealed, and an appeals court ruled the mask mandate can stay in place. Children under 5 are not eligible for the coronavirus vaccine. Scott Pringle, NBC News Radio, New York.
I just keep on wondering about that real quick, because have you ever tried to put a mask on a 2-year-old? Like, how does this even work? I mean, it's just something to think about as we are talking. Anyways, let's talk about this real quick. JetBlue apologized for disruption. JetBlue is apologizing for flight disruptions and that started over the weekend and continue today. James Rojas reports.
JetBlue says severe weather and traffic control programs are to blame for disruptions across the country, including more than 70 flights here at Logan over the weekend. Daniil Saruf of Worcester is among the many whose flights were affected.
Even the flight attendants flew from Florida, and they said that they've been waiting there since yesterday to leave.
Her flight was delayed by a day. This guy found out this morning he's not leaving until Wednesday.
That's its cancer, and they didn't even let me know. I didn't even see that.
JetBlue says it had to cancel flights this weekend, adding that cancellations will help reset their operation and safely move crews and aircraft back into position. James Rojas, Boston.
Oh, that does not sound like a fun travel day for sure. Oh, so now you're sudden, you got blocked. You're not doing much of anything. That's not a fun thing to hear whatsoever. Anyways, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of this world real quick. As we are moving and moving as we are talking. Hoboken to start administering a second COVID booster today. In Hoboken, New York, Hoboken will start administering a second booster shot for coronavirus vaccine. Noam Layden has more info.
Hoboken has opened special pop-up clinics today for the FDA-approved 4th dose. CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky says anyone eligible for the booster should really go ahead and get one.
With Omicron and even with BA2, that you have about a 50% chance of staying out of the hospital if you've had your primary series. That increases to 90% if you've had your booster shot.
The Hoboken Health Department will be at senior centers giving out the shot throughout the week. Noam Layden, NBC News Radio, New York.
Okay, thank you, Noam Layden, for letting us know what exactly is going on there, because that's always important. I think it's time right now for us to bring in some John Smalls and let us know what is going on inside of the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Brian. Pastor Rick Warren said, "There are 3 things you can do with your life. You can waste it, you can spend it, or you can invest it. The best use of your life is to invest it in something that will last longer than your time on earth." I love this quote. Sadly, I know many people who spend their time doing a job they don't even like. One friend gets paid well, so he said he has to keep doing the job that gives him ulcers. I couldn't do that. I love what I get to do. I feel absolutely blessed. Now, I'm not a wealthy person in the world's eyes, but I love what I do, and I get to work with my best friend, who also happens to be my wife. What could be better than that? This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, thank you, Johnny Smalls, for that one. Let's give you the top 5 movies from the charts over the weekend. Let's see. Jujutsu Kaisen, the movie, $1.9 million at number 5. Uncharted made $3.6 million. The Batman fell down to number 3 with $10.8 million. And number 2 was The Lost City with $14.8 million. And at the number 1 spot inside of the box office was Morbius with $39 million. So there you go. Some things that were going on there if you were playing the game. So, what else? Did you go to the movies? Did you go see anything? I mean, I don't know. I did not go to the movies over the weekend. I never knew what movie to go see. I used to love going to the movie theater. Then it just got weird for me because the movie theater that I liked became too far away because I moved away from it. So there you go. Anyways, no winner for Friday night's Mega Million drawing. Tuesday's drawing will be for $81 million jackpot or a $51.5 million cash payout. No winner for Saturday night's Powerball drawing. Tonight's drawing will be for $231 million jackpot or a $147.5 million cash payout. So there you go. Some things to think about. Do you want to talk about this? Do we want to talk about the 64th annual Grammy Awards aired live on from MGM Garden Arena in Las Vegas? Do we want to talk about this? Do we care? How about if I just give you the overall? I'll just give you the overall real quick. Overall, record of the year or record of whatever. Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open. Album of the year was John Batiste with We Are. Song with Silk Sonic, Leave the Door Open. New artist, Olivia Rodrigo. Music video, John Batiste, Freedom. And music film, Summer of Soul. And if you want to get the breakdown of everything else that was readily available, you're more than welcome on doing so. If you come over to radiobig.fm, we'll give you a breakdown of all that stuff that did happen. Anyways, it is 55 minutes past the top of the hour. So what does that mean? That means we're going to fly through some stuff real quick before we can get you to the other side, because loving you has to take me to the other side. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this day. Back in 2019, Kathy Lee Gifford leaves NBC Today Show. In an interview leading up to her exit, Gifford said that her husband's passing in 2015 influenced her decision to leave the morning show. She also wanted to take a crack at writing and directing movies. So there you go. That happened back in 2019. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about that. Today, Jamie Lynn Spears turns 31, sister of Britney Spears. Let's see, Eric Andre, 39. Stephen Mewham, 45. James Roger, 46. Kelly Price, 49. David Blaine, yes, the magician, 49. Jill Scott, 50. Robert Downey Jr. turns 57 today. David Cross, 58. Graham Norton turns 59, and Clive Davis turns 90 today. So there you go. Back on also on this day, even though he has passed away, Heath Ledger was born back in 1979. You know, the actor from Brokeback Mountain and The Dark Knight fame. So there you go. What else? If you're looking at some days to celebrate today, today's Jeep Day, Jeep 4x4 Day to be exact, National Chicken Cordon Bleu Day, National Hug a News Person Day. Am I considered a news person? Okay, cool. National School Librarian Day, National Vitamin C Day, and National Walk Around Things Day. If you're looking for some days to celebrate, I guess you got some of those now to do. Anyways, what else do we have real quick? If you need some whack facts, the name Hotmail was chosen because it contains in order the letters of HTML. Data scientists analyzed over 10,000 words to discover the happiest word in the English language. It's laughter. Earwax is actually a type of sweat. You blink 5 to 10 million times per year. Disney World is the second largest purchaser of explosives in the United States versus the U.S. Department of Defense. And the symbols that are used on cartoonists to indicate swearing is called grawlixes. So there you go. What else do we got? If you need a random joke for today, try this one. I generally avoid temptation unless I can't resist it. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What do you spend way too much time doing? What do you mean sitting behind a microphone? That's not the answer. What else? Question for today. A survey says that 1/3 of people never do this at the gym. What is it? Sweat. Yeah, because some of those gyms are way too cold to be working out in. Anyways, that's what we got for you today. This was the Rated R Safety Show. If you want to come over to radiobig.fm, I'll be hanging out over there doing the things that we do. You can go to radiobig.fm or you can go to TuneIn Radio and just find Radio Big over there, and that will get you moving and grooving as we are doing all the fun stuff there. Anyways, we can't do what we do around here without you, the most important part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. Seriously, we just can't do it. Safety FM is the home of real safety talk. I'm not even sure what Radio Big is the home of. It feels like it's just the home of sarcasm because that's how it comes across. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Despite what the forecast may tell you, live like it's spring. Some people seem to enjoy that weather the best. Think about it. all the things that are gloriously going on during that time. Anyway, so that's what I got for you. Hopefully, I will see you over at Radio Big if you want to come and hang out. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love ya, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.